Hi guys, welcome to Coffee and Conversations. It's your girl Danica KL. How y'all doing? Welcome back. If you are new to Coffee and Conversations, here we talk all things Christ and all things life. So let's jump straight into it. Today, I want to talk about godparents, nannies, and parents. I will admit, once upon a time, I would have never given this topic a second thought. Prior to Christ and prior to getting married and having our first child, to me, selecting godparents would just be simple for my child. Like, oh, yeah, it'll be such and such, no brainer, I always figured like selecting a godparent was like, one of your closest friends. I never really figured out why it would be like an aunt or uncle. I just feel like that's double dabbing in titles, but that was me personally. But yeah, I really never gave it a second thought. I didn't think that it had so much detail and just really required that much brain cells and attention, up until it was time for my husband and I to select godparents for our son, Elijah. So that's what we're here to talk about today. Just kind of share how God was just all up in the mix, how since there is God and godparents, that he should definitely be included in that process of selecting who will be godparents, So, so we found out we were pregnant December 2016. We found out I was pregnant December 2016, and then like around 6 or 7 months or so, we've been talking about it back and forth, and then we made the decision like, well, I will pick the female and we both have to agree, and then he would pick a male and we both will have to agree, and then we can come together collectively and pick like a married couple that we both agree on and was comfortable with. So on my end, the female was really a no-brainer. Elijah's nanny, this particular woman, she has played an intricate role in my life since 2013. I've been on her since 2010, but we didn't really start getting close and building a relationship up until 2013. And I mean, she's been there through it all, through my singleness, every step of the way to me getting married, and even throughout the pregnancy, she was like, that was probably the only thing she was on time for my birth. But no, she really played a great role. I trust her with my secrets. Like, I trust her with my life. So of course I'm going to trust her with my child, so it was kind of like a no-brainer when it came to selecting a single woman. And so we stuck with that. We were cool with that. But when it came to like selecting a single male, it wasn't as easy, My husband, he has friends, but he doesn't have a bunch of friends, but he has a plethora amount of brothers. He has quite a few brothers. And so like we had a list. We did pros and cons, and it was just like we made a decision that we won't just select somebody just to select someone. You know what I'm saying? So if it wasn't really settling with our spirit, we wasn't going to go forth with the decision. And at first we I'm saying it was really me, because I'm just impatient and I'm like, no, we got to do this, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, at first I was just kind of like, it's not that big of a deal. Let's just pick such and such. And then he was kind of like, no, it is a big deal, and let's just see if somebody will ask us. And I'm like, that's not typically how it goes. Like, nobody be like, hey, yo, you about to have a baby? Can I christen it? But I don't know, maybe people do that, but I've never really seen that. So we just kind of let it go or whatever. And we had the baby, every now and again we'll bring the topic back up, but we never agreed on a guy, like ever. It was just something. So I let it go. Now, one thing I'm starting to really learn and admire about my husband is that he is not easily moved. He's not easily persuaded. He is very patient, and sometimes he seems passive, but I think it's just because he's just very patient, and I'm not, total opposite. So like sometimes I would just be like, oh my gosh, it's not that serious. Just pick somebody. And he's like, no, I'm not doing it. And I would just get mad and be like, ah. But I now am grateful to inform my husband that he is the way he is, because the way God orchestrated our son's godparents, all three of them, is just truly a blessing. So without going into like buku details, months went by, we had the baby. About 6 months went by. People would ask like, oh, when y'all gonna christen the baby? And I'm like, I don't know. We're still trying to figure that out. It'll happen. Maybe it won't happen. But it is what it is. I've kind of became settled with the fact that he may not have godparents. So once Elijah was maybe about 9 months or so, this couple that we both admire had popped up in our spirit, and we was like, and just not to mention, we'll kind of go back. We had conversations, and one thing that we both really did agree upon, we was like, well, we don't want our children to have godparents like us, because both of us, like my husband and I haven't spoken to my nanny and parent in like years. I don't even know where they live. I'll know them if I see them out in the streets, but it's just like, yeah, it's nothing there, and same on his case. So we both did agree, we wanted people that really wants to be involved in our son's life and who will really play an intricate role in his life, because when we started to study like godparents and what they're really for, we was like, well, we want really reliable people that we can trust, people that we can count on, that we can call on to back us up, help us out, whatever the case may be. So that kind of helped ease me too with the wait process, because godparents are really important, and even he and I, we have to check ourselves, because we, as husband and wife, has christened someone, and we're like, okay, we want this greatness for our son, so we have to be this greatness for our goddaughter. So, we're trying to figure out our role in our lives, like how we can play an intricate role in her life, as we desire for others to play an intricate role in our son's life. Like, we can't be selfish, So we, the couple dropped into our spirit, and we knew that we were taking a risk to ask this particular couple, because they have publicly made it known that they were not christening more kids. However, we really felt strongly enough to still offer it to them. Like, we rather them decline and say no than we never asked. So we did, and they sat on it for a while, and they came back, and it was like, we thought about it, we prayed about it, we're truly honored, but, we're going to have to say no. And we were totally fine. I was a little bummed out, but I knew what I was getting into. So it was cool. Wasn't tripping, and they offered to pray along with us, to pray that God blesses us with the right people to be in our son's life, that we can agree upon, that we can pull from, pour into, like just all kinds of things. So I was like, hey, that's great. Prayers always accepted. So back in prayer, back giving it up to God. Like, well, God, we tried. Didn't work out. It's on you, Lord. Whoever you please, just send them on in. So some more some more months went by, and we totally forgot about it. We submitted it in prayer. we didn't kept harping over it. We wasn't like talking about it or anything. And then God just kind of like brought this couple into our lives. And they attend the same church that we go to. And it wasn't like, we had a relationship with them, so to say. Like, we really didn't talk to each other, like, outside of church. We really just started getting close with them unexpectedly. Like, it just kind of happened. And I guess that's how I know that's how those divine relationships happen. And so they would always, like, call or, like, randomly text us, like, hey, how's little man? We watching, we looking over him. Tell him we watching him and stuff. And we kind of was laughing and like, oh, that's so sweet. They really care about our child. Like, that's so nice. They calling and checking on him and stuff. Like, that's cool. And then, like, one Wednesday night after Bible study, we seen how our son, at this point, he's 1. He just made 1 in August. And we saw like how he was interacting with this couple, and we just was looking at, like, you have to know our child. So we were just looking at each other like, you see this? Like, look at this dude. And we came home and we were just talking, like, kind of joking, and was like, wait, do you think that maybe we just found godparents for our son? And my husband was like, I was thinking the same thing. And I was like, wow. I was like, well, let's pray on it and just see what happens. And so we had sent them a text message, just kind of joking. My husband texted the husband, and he was like, yeah, so Elijah don't have godparents, right? And so they text back the next day and was like, absolutely, like, just let us know the place and the time. And I was like, what you say? Wow, okay. And so me being me, I was like, well, we can't accept over a text message. Like, we can't even offer over a text message. It has to be done in person. And I was like so excited. I'm like, oh my God, like, I can't believe this is really happening. And so Sunday came, and we had talked to them after church, and we asked them if they would be Elijah's godparents, and they were like, absolutely, hands down, we will be totally honored to be his godparents. And it was just like, just indescribable. And I'm just happy that God made it the way that he did it, and he orchestrated it the way that he did, because, like, right after they accepted our offer, they pulled me to the side, and, like, the wife was like, oh, my husband was really so excited. I hope you don't mind me saying this. She's like, he was so excited, like, he even was crying, like, when you guys had asked. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, wow. I'm like, oh, wow, that's really awesome. But then he, like, pulled me to the side, and he shared a piece of his testimony with me, and, how God had prophesied some things to him when he came back to Christ. And I was just like, wow, like, it's not my story to tell. Maybe I'll have him on the show to just kind of give you a background on him and hear his story and his testimony, because it's truly, truly, truly amazing. And so, so he shared, like, how us asking him and his wife to be godparents to our son was, like, not only an answered prayer for him, but just God fulfilling his promise to him. And I was just, like, blown away, like, oh my gosh, and I'm just like, wow, like, God is really into everything, and so I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing my train of thought just thinking about how amazing God is, and how he's really into things that we don't even think matters the most, but yeah, so I kind of caught some flack afterwards, like, when I had shared with some family members, like, oh, we finally got godparents and we're gonna do a christening. And, tell them like, who? And it's like, oh, this couple from church. And people's like, do you know them? Like, you're supposed to pick somebody and da 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 da. And I'm like, look, God knows them. We trust God. We trust them, And so, and I will be totally honest, like a part of me was a little uneasy, kind of like the flesh side, like, well, what do we know about these people, But then I was like, well, we believe God sent these people. So if God says yes, so do we. And so I just kind of let the little backlash just roll off my shoulders. Like, yo, look, this is my husband's and I's decision. We agree and we're okay with our decision. We believe that this is the best decision for our child. And so it's been a blessing, just their interaction with him and then the other woman, like, she's still there, every step of the way. She, in the beginning, gave me breaks, like, oh, girl, you need some rest. You need me to come get the baby. You need me to come over. Like, just offering help. And that's not even, like, what it's about, like, what a person can do. It's just, like, that peace of knowing that they are there, and just that fulfillment and just seeing how everything really is full circle, and I'm excited and he's excited, everybody is blessed from this ordeal, and I don't think that you can ask for anything better. So I just like, wow. But that's the end of the story in terms of like how we selected godparents for our son. So I just want to open up for questions, like for those parents out there who's listening, how do you guys select godparents? Even those of you who are currently expecting, what do you look for in a godparent? Is it a relative? Is it, a close friend? Do you have a relationship with your godparents? Do you wish that maybe things were different? What do you expect? Yeah, like I really want to hear you guys' thoughts on that. Because like I said, I have a totally new perspective when it comes to godparents and just godparenting. And like I said, my husband and I are figuring out how we can be better godparents. Before we met each other and got married, I think he has one godchild, and so do I, but they're like kind of grown, so we're like, well, yeah, we kind of missed that ball. Well, I don't know, maybe not, but we want to do better now that we know better. So what do you guys expect from godparents? I really want to hear, I want to know. And how do you guys choose and select who will christen or baptize? I think that's how the Catholics does it. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But, how do you select who's going to christen your children? Is it a relative or a close friend? So, yeah, thank you guys for listening and tuning in. I really look forward to hearing back from you all. And don't forget to subscribe and follow. Don't forget to like and comment and share and just hashtag join the conversation. Please check out the previous episodes if you haven't. We will be looking to do a follow-up with Sister Tonia from Life After Divorce. I'm pretty excited about that. And we do have a lot of great things coming up in this new year. So again, thank you. Join us next time. Come chill chat with Zanika KL, and don't forget your cup. Amen. Praise God. Bye-bye.